Hello everyone, in this free little music tidbit, we're going to go over one of the basics of rock guitar, and that is the power chord. The power chord is, I would say, one of the most essential elements of rock guitar. It's the riff, and it's also the power, and it's used in, I can't even begin to tell you how many songs it's used in. It's used in a lot of songs. And so we're going to go over some of the basics of it today, what you need to know, and some helpful tips to kind of keep you going. The power chord is known for being, it's only 2 notes required as compared to a lot of chords where maybe there's 3, 4, 5, or even all 6 strings required. So that makes it small and agile and very mobile. And when you combine it with a little bit of distortion, it's got a nice, powerful sound. And so you've heard it in a ton of songs in the past. Or maybe you have... or how about... Let's give it one more example. A lot of very, very famous songs ranging all the way back from the 70s through especially the 80s, the 90s, and even stuff going on today. So how exactly do you make a power chord? What are the requirements? We're not going to get too into the theory of it right now, but for the most part, we're going to have what we call a root and what we call a fifth. And so the root is the lowest of the notes that gets played on your guitar. Let's start with the lowest of the low here. We're going to start on the low E string. So if I take my pointer finger and I put it onto the 5th fret of the low E string, that's going to be our lowest note, and so that's going to be our root. And then after that, I'm going to follow up with my ring finger, and the formula kind of goes something like this. We're going to go 1 string over and 2 frets up. So if I put my pointer finger on the 5th fret of the low E string, that means my ring finger needs to go over 1 string, over to the A string, and 2 frets higher. So from 5 to 7 on the A string. And if I combine those two and I play it right, that gives me my power chord. Now, a lot of people complain at the beginning that it's a tough stretch, and it really is if you don't have a whole lot of experience on the guitar before. It's going to take a little time to get your fingers working properly. I always like to call it yoga for your hands, because there are some things that just at the beginning it's frustrating, it's painful, you can't stretch the way that you want to, you can't get the same level of mobility, but as you keep practicing, your fingers will stretch more and more, and that'll make it easier for you to be able to stretch lots and lots of frets. I know me, if I want to, I can stretch 3 or even 4 frets with just that ring finger. So not that I have, I have, I guess, a little bit of some long fingers, but I feel like if you just give yourself some time and you keep practicing this, your hands will stretch gradually over time. Now, I did mention that there's a little bit of a formula to this. We talked about it. We said the root and the 5th, and that's true going for our E and A string, but you can also apply this to other string combinations. So, for example, if I move my pointer finger over, and let's say this time I start on the A string, the formula is still the same, fret 5 on the A string, but this time we're going to move to fret 7 on the D string, and that gives us another power chord. And I can repeat that formula 1 more string over. If I go on to the 5th fret of the D string this time, and then I go over to the 7th fret of the G, I still get a power chord in that slot. If I go over 1 more pair of strings, doesn't sound that great. So the power chords kind of end there. They're kind of reserved for the lowest 4 strings. But still, that's a lot of room, a lot of stuff for us to work on. with these power chords. And like I said too, the formula still works even as you move up and down the neck. So that includes, like if I move, let's say now my root note is 7 on the A string, then I would go to 9 on the D, and now I have a power chord up here. Maybe I move down to 3, so 3 and 5 on A and D, or I can even do open, right? The open string is fret 0, and so the next string over, D plus 2, that's 2, so 0 and 2. Now we have a power chord there using an open string. So that's kind of a brief summary of the power chords. There's a huge list of songs. I'll list a few of them kind of on the end title cards, some songs that really utilize power chords, and you guys could feel free to go and check those out for yourself. Thanks for watching this free little video. We'll see you guys next time.